Hello and welcome to the Circularists. And today I am delighted to be speaking with Rabia. Rabia, welcome to the Circularists.
Hello,
By way
Karen.
of introduction, so let's introduce you to the Circularist audience. You refer to yourself as a member of the ecosystem. You are known as the Queen of Waste. You're a permaculture designer, a linguist, a herbalist, a psychologist, and many other things. What would you add to that introduction of yourself?
I'm a waste lover also. Uh, I'm really passionate about waste and let's say also I'm a waste manager and product designer.
Cool. And so we're so talk let's talk about your roots because you describe yourself as hailing from indigenous uh Shamanic cultures. Can you tell us about your origins and what causes you to lean towards circularity and waste and so on?
I was born in a family that is immigrated from different regions of the world. My dad was his family originally is from Crimea, and my mom's family is originally from Dagestan, and half comes from the nomadic cultures that they settled really late, like in 1940s.
Hmm.
Um, so they always had this respect to the nature. Even when you pick up a fruit and you will eat it, we were saying thank you when we were kids.
Ah,
So it was always about empathy with the nature, like seeing yourself as a part of it.
right.
Um, and we never, the term waste in my family meant potential for something new.
That's circular thinking, right?
That's true. And they were not only thinking about recycling, they were thinking also about upcycling, which
Mm.
has less carbon emissions actually, most of the time.
Yes, yeah. Sounds like you grew up with a circular mindset, which is such a powerful thing, given where we want to go and what and the systems that we want to build. Can you give some examples when you were a child of this circular thinking? So you thought in terms of not waste, but a resource for something else, right? Could you give an example of what a young child might be looking at and thinking about there?
Of course, a patchwork of my grandma and my mom. So they were like, whenever we had this old textile of something, they were just cutting them in pieces and they were making this beautiful bed covers or curtains from patchwork, for example. So they were not
Ah,
throwing it away.
right.
This is an old culture in all around the world, actually, that we have forgotten. And it is
Yes.
circular economy and it's art at the same time. It's beautiful.
Yes. And a creative outlet, right?
That's true. And also like old, how do you say it? Old textile, they were making little ropes, they were cutting it and they were knitting it again. And they were making
Knitting,
something new, like carpets.
carpets. Oh,
And you
wow.
see your socks in the carpet, your
Ah,
t-shirt in the carpet. And still, I mean, when I go to my parents' house, I can see my baby dress in the carpet and I feel so happy about it because I still remember that.
it's almost like a tapestry of your life, in a sense. There's a story
Absolutely.
there. So then it's not really that much of a leap coming from this kind of upbringing and awareness. It's not for you such a great leap to look at the world today and think, okay, we need to circularize, we need to repurpose, conserve. You were already there, it sounds like, right?
That's true. I was like, I didn't know the name. I didn't know that there was something called permaculture designing. I didn't know that there is something called circular economy. But that was me. That was my family already. We were all
Yes.
permaculture designers and we were all circular economists and product designers.
Wow. So I want to explore permaculture design and circular economy and waste. I want to explore all of these lanes that you run in. So should we start with permaculture? Can you talk to us about what is a permaculture designer? What do you do?
Permaculture designer, most of the time, generally in the world, is known kind of agriculture, but it is a philosophy actually. It
Okay.
is living with the nature, with harmony with the nature,
Okay.
but not living despite the nature. So
Right.
whenever I take an action, I think, how will nature respond when
Right.
I take this action? It's like, basic physics, action reaction.
Yes.
So I always think about the reaction when I take an action. It could
Right.
be about agriculture, it could be about economy. Most of the time, it's about agriculture and regenerating the ecosystems.
Right.
But according to me, it's a philosophy and it's how I live
Yes, I hear
my
that.
life.
I hear that. So right now in the world, we have big agriculture where the land is scorched with harsh chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, and there's not much organic content. Would permaculture be a kinder type of agriculture, a more respectful and harmonious kind? Is that what
Definitely,
it is?
definitely. It has lots of different principles in it, such as um, companion plentiful. You can have the best taste for wine when you plant some aromatic herbs next to your wine plants
Oh, really?
because
Oh, I see.
they
That is,
share the aroma, for example. And meanwhile, they some of these aromatic herbs they are pest repellents.
right. Perfect.
And also, you will have, when we look at it from the perspective of a farmer,
Mhm.
you want to have like the most income, right?
Yes.
Um, so you have this risk. Some years, some of our crops are not paying that well.
Yeah.
When you, instead of monoculturing, when you polyculture, when you plant different crops together,
Right. Right. Right.
you also are sharing the risk. So maybe one crop didn't work that well this year. You
Yes.
could
Right.
harvest um, what you
Mm.
were expecting, but you also
Yeah.
have the other one.
Right. Where does your knowledge come from? Did you study specifically for this, or is this sort of generational knowledge? Where did you learn this?
I'm certified permaculture designer.
Right.
I have my certification from Permaculture Research Institute.
Okay.
I studied permaculture, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Amazing. So let's talk about your work as a herbalist then. This sounds as if it's strongly linked to your permaculture interests and design and so on. Can you talk to us about the connections, the parallels there? How do these work together? I mean, you kind of touched
Uh,
on it when you
uh,
talked
I,
about the wine.
my grandma was a healer, so I grew up with the herbs uh, since I was a child. And then I studied herbalism for a year also, and it was also part of my life. Like it's not
Mhm.
something that is new to me. I
Yes.
just got the theoretical information because I was working with medicinal and aromatical herb growers for a while in terms of permaculture. And then I noticed that you can heal the plants also with the herbs. So
Right.
you don't
It's
need all
amazing.
these pest repellents, you don't need chemicals. You can make medicine from plants for plants.
Right. 100%.
And
Yes.
slowly, I started to, deep dive in it. And I noticed that they are so useful in lots of different terms, such as most of the medicinal herbs, you don't need to water them that much. They are more resilient to any kind of natural issues. They are already there. If you grow uh, um, the species that are growing in your area, they are
Yes.
already there. They are pollinator friendly. Their
Right.
flowers are amazing. So if you have, for example, an apple yard, you can also have different herbs growing on the like between the rows,
Right.
and you can have also bees together. So you
Ah,
will have a side product, honey, for
yeah.
example.
Yes, yes,
Meanwhile, it's
yes.
really beneficial for health because you're growing
Mm,
herbs. And since you have the
yes.
pollinators, you will get more apples at the end of the
Mm,
year, more
right.
harvest because
Right.
pollinators
Right.
are there. You have more apples.
Right. So
So
so it creates abundance.
that's true.
The synergies
That's
create
true. It's,
abundance, right?
it's just about observing, you know. When you observe the nature, you see how it works. It is,
Yes.
for me, circularity is also biomimicry. So
100%. Yes.
I sit and watch. I
Yes.
watch, and then that's where the solution is. I mean,
Yes.
most of the inventions are made like this, you know. They are
Yes.
invented like this.
Right.
When we
We have the
see the
best
plane, it
teacher.
looks like bird. Yeah. So
Yeah.
um it's just biomimicry. Like you need to
Yes.
think, what is this? What do I have in my hand? What
Yes.
would nature do with this?
Right. Right. Yes.
If
I
we
love
do
that.
that exactly that thing, then we succeed.
I love that. I love that. Right. So let's talk about waste. So you're known as Queen of Waste. Why is that? Why are you known as Queen of Waste?
Because I believe I can talk to them and I can see their potential. I mean, a good leader would see the potential of its team members and put them in the right places.
I'm going to ask you to just repeat what you just said there. So you said you believe you can talk to them.
Yes. I can
You
understand them
you talk to
and
the waste. Is that what you've said?
let's say whispering because it sounds more mysterious and fancy. Um, yeah, I talk to ways. I see their potential. It's just like being a good team leader. You
Okay.
know,
So
king or queen is the leader. So when
yeah,
you
yeah.
have the or when you have the people, you need to put the people in the right place to have the
Yes.
best functioning community,
Yes.
to put them in the right roles, to listen to them, to lead them. It's the
Yes.
same with the ways. If you see the potential of it and if you put it in the right place, then they accept you as the queen.
Okay. So there's it's partly the line that I'm missing one or two words, but partly I just want to I'm going to read back what I think I heard you say. So I asked why you're known as the Queen of Waste, and you said because you talk to them. You're talking about the people, not the waste, right?
I'm talking about the ways.
Thought you were. This is awesome. Okay, let's go from there. So you talk to the waste. So in your mind, I'm trying to get into your mind how you're seeing this. So you kind of personify the waste as some kind of resourceful army or gathering,
As a
and
community.
your community. So you're directing this waste to certain functions and purposes, right?
Actually, I'm not directing. I'm listening to them, what they want to be, what they want to become.
Okay. So this is fascinating. I love this because we need this sort of creative thinking to break down barriers to build our future. So you're listening to the waste, and how does the waste let you know what it wants to become?
It has thousands of ways. I sometimes let the waste to get rotten to see
Yes.
what grows, what kind of organisms grows on it when it's
Yes.
organic waste.
Yes.
Sometimes I look into it. I see the compounds of it, And I ask it, what do you want to be? What do we need? Can you do that for us?
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, um, when a company comes to me and say, oh, we have this much waste, this is the this is the amount of it, this is the compounds, this is what we have. The first thing I do is seeing that in several perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I also calculate how would it work with the carbon footprint.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be better to upcycle it, to recycle it, to develop product from it? What
Mm-hmm.
would be like cost efficient? What
Mm-hmm.
do we need in the world?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, where is this
Yes.
area? Where is it close to? Do they
Yes.
have
Yes.
organic relationship with their farmers and so on?
Okay.
So I take that waste in my hands and I look at it, and according to the needs of the company, needs of the planet, and needs of the waste, I decide what to do with it.
Okay.
Um, I look at the compounds. Sometimes, um, for example, there was this company that they are brewery, and actually, it's a collaboration with a friend of mine. He came up with this idea what we can do with the waste of the breweries. And I
Right.
looked at it and I noticed something that we can do, because this barley, the waste of the barley has a high amount of hemicellulose. You can make hydrogel from hemicellulose, and those hydrogel can, the rest of the waste could be composted with the growing mushroom in it because it's fermented. So already mushroom are growing in it. It talks to
Ah,
me. It says,
ah, ah.
grow mushrooms in me.
Oh,
And mushrooms
amazing.
are one of the best composters.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you have the
yeah.
compost, you have the hydrogels,
Mm-hmm.
you have side product as mushroom.
Mm-hmm.
You can put that hydrogel, which is 100% organic, into the compost. And
Yes.
guess what? Hydrogels are the things that we use in the diapers. They are really good at absorbing water. So
Right.
if you put it in the farms, in the fields with rich
It'll
compost,
conserve water.
that's true. It's just the waste of the company. So uh, you see, I talked to them. I asked them, what do you need? What do
Yeah,
you want to
yeah.
become? I
Yes.
asked the others, like the company. I asked the nature what it needs. And
Mm-hmm.
I try to find this point that is in the middle of all. Like they
Yes.
all are together and they have this point that they are, how do you say it? They are meeting each other.
Yes.
That
Yes.
is the product that we need to produce at that moment.
Right. I love the way you think. I love this. So tell me then about your work. What's the scale of it, and what's your vision of where you want to take your work?
So we started to work, like our company is called Entrepreneur Eco. It's a social impact institute, and also social permaculture hub, and also a cheesecake shop because people need a place to socialize.
Yes.
And waste is something social. We create it all together. We need to
Hmm.
deal with it all together.
Okay.
It's also fair.
Hmm.
And it also
Wonderful.
reduces the waste because when you do it together, you know how valuable it is,
Yes.
what are the consequences of our waste.
Hmm.
And when you contact it, related with the food in our plate and with the farmers, people start to think about this chain. You have supply chain in it, you have the producer in it, you have the consumer, you have the, like the circle again.
Yes.
That
Yes.
circle with the entire community. So since 5 years, with the population of 12,000 people in the neighborhood, we started the Zero Waste Neighborhood project.
Right.
It includes also the other cafes and restaurants. They're also bringing their waste to us.
Okay.
It
Ah.
includes packaging. It includes fried oils. It includes,
Okay.
it is just like community brings us a waste and they say, this is the waste, but we can do
Okay.
it. And then we have Art with Purpose community. Some artists create some ideas with that. I create some ideas about developing a product from it. What do we need in the world? It can be something about construction industry, and it can be a
Mhm.
toy. Like we
Yes.
find these toys from
Yes.
nutshell, for example.
Hmm.
And by the time your community is starting to think in different way, at the
Yes. Yes.
beginning they were bringing all organic waste together.
Yes.
After a while, they started to freeze their citrus peels in in the freezer, and they
Hmm.
start to bring it separately. And then we start to make gems with them. We
Oh,
started to make we started to dry the orange peels. We powdered them, and it became really when you bake a cake, put 1 spoon of it, and then you have this delicious
since
cake.
beautiful,
And
beautiful.
we put them in our herbal teas,
Hmm.
and so on. So we start to educate people in different ways. We start to say, okay, you see, this is valuable. When we thought about developing a new product from it,
Yes.
we started to tell it to the community to bring it separately to us.
Right.
So then nutshells came separately, then eggshells came separately, and those eggshells saved lots of animals that are in recovery rehab process, wildlife animals, because eggshell is calcium carbonate.
Calcium. Mm.
And when you have broken bones,
Mm.
the
Hmm.
best
Hmm.
supplement you can get is
Yes.
we started to sterilize them. Like our communities start to bring them, dry them and bring them.
Yes.
We sterilized them, we made powder out of it, and we shared it with
Mm.
the wildlife vets.
So many possibilities, right?
Exactly.
So
And also
much scope.
it's a good alternative also for construction because calcium carbonate is used widely in construction industry. And
Right.
imagine when we have an earthquake, if we would design all our construction products from natural products. When we have an earthquake, we won't need to clean the area like that. We won't have polluted
Yes.
water like that. It is
Right.
like just put the thing in the right place. That's all.
Yeah. Right.
See through it.
Yes, I see that. I see that. So I've got a question for you about this waste. This sounds so fascinating and such scope there for repurposing all of these ingredients. And as you're talking about the possibilities and all of the products you're turning waste into, I'm thinking of the alternative, which is that it goes in a starch bag and sits in a landfill, emitting methane for God knows how long. Such a contrast. So, in terms of you obtaining this waste, are you buying this waste? Are they donating this waste? How are you
Oh,
funding this whole operation? Is the
that's
government
also
helping
fun.
you?
Oh no. That's a no. No municipality is not helping us. No government, it's just the community. Because when you work with the community and also it becomes all ours, together.
Right, right.
Here is the thing. We start from time to time, we have this um, art competition, like drawing competition with the kids. They are
Yeah.
drawing things about compost. They develop their own products in their mind, and then we make this compost card. And
Okay.
we weigh the waste when the community members bring it to us.
Yeah.
We write
Yes.
the weight of it.
Okay.
We give the card back to the community member. And when they
Okay.
collect the waste for the entire cart, meanwhile, we
Okay.
are developing products and we start to make projects about them or we start to sell them when we upcycle them.
Okay. Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
so community members, they collect these compost points or we also we were planning
Right.
to start at glass points. They
Right.
bring the glass jars, we clean them, send them to the farmers. So when they have points, they can, uh, with those points, they can buy something that is produced from their waste.
I
So
just
they
love
get
this.
rewarded.
This is amazing. I love this. I'm getting flashes of possibilities with this. It's so awesome. How long have you been doing this for?
5 years,
5 years.
5 years
Amazing.
organized, but even before that, when we were living, like we live in this neighborhood since 10 years, and since
Yes.
10 years we are collecting it. It's just something that I cannot give up since I
Right.
was a kid. I keep collecting the waste.
Yes. So are your community enthusiastic about this, and has that waned or grown? Or how do you mobilize their enthusiasm for this?
Mm, it depends in their background. For
Okay.
example, for grandmas, we say, "Oh, our little ones are so hungry. Would you like to feed them with your waste, please?" This is for grandmas. And for young people, we talk about the next generations, the future of the planet, and so on.
Okay.
For kids, they love feeding worms. I mean, just like worms are great excuse for
Yeah.
asking for more waste. And
Yeah.
also, um, when you have this organic relationship with the farmers, um, Turkey is a country, like agriculture country at the same time. So most of their parents or their grandfathers, they live in the village and they agriculture or they farm.
Okay.
So when you tell them, okay, if you bring your glass jars to us, we clean them and we send it back to the farmers. They know how much they pay for the glass jars.
Right.
Sometimes the glass jars are more expensive than the product in it.
Hmm. Really?
So um, when they see that, and they also can ask for when they are going for a summer holiday to their parents, they ask like, "Do you have extra glass jars? Because my mom is making tomato sauce for this summer." They can also get
Right.
it back. So
Okay.
when you build this relationship with your community members, with farmers, with everyone, we
Yes.
all have relatives or friends that are doing that job. So
Yes. Yes.
you
Yes.
grow the empathy of the community members for the people in the urban, for animals, for soil. They created this great empathy for soil, which is
Yes.
which is I'm so glad for that.
Yes. I have a question for you. The work, your work, this waste work, this whole transformation of waste to something else, is this something that you can teach and have replicated around the world for other communities?
Exactly. That was our aim when we started this. We said, okay, we will apply a model here and we will make it worldwide because this system is working. It's really 100% working. You don't need extra people to work for it. The community members are doing it by themselves. It's local. If you will have these kind of places all around the world, you won't need to run the trucks all around the world from there to
Yes.
there. You
Right.
don't need to, all this fuel. You don't need to pick the
Yes.
waste one by one from it.
Yeah.
And
Right.
also, I mean, our hub is not open for a couple of months now, and we have fly issue in our neighborhood
Oh, look at
because we
that.
cannot collect the waste, organic
Yeah.
waste.
Yes.
And now the municipality started to take the waste to trash 3 times a day. When we were open, it was 1 time a day. So you see,
Interesting.
that is the impact. And
Yes.
they keep
Yes.
people keep complaining about the flies. Hello, you could
Hmm.
compost it by us.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
didn't have
Amazing.
fly issue
Mm.
back then. You
Yes.
see, and then they throw more pesticides for the flies to die.
Yes. Right.
It's a
Mm.
circle, like it's a circle of
Comes
life.
right. Comes back to this circular logic, circular living. I have a question for you. See this logo, that logo, Nature Fest. I can edit out the errors. So the vision of Nature Fest is to have a central global repository of recipes like yours. that are free, that people all over the world can come and download and understand how to set this project up in their locality. So what we have is change at scale. And so this our quest to do this marries perfectly with your quest to have your waste projects sort of reverberate around the world at scale. So should we work together? Seems obvious.
That would be great. We are working on mobile app right now to calculate
Oh,
people waste and to collect for the points that are collecting it.
right.
Uh, that was our next step after this,
Okay.
like compost cards and so on. So you
Yes.
can have point stuff, that you can calculate your points, and also you can measure your impact as the waste collector and waste
Perfect.
manager. And we will have also a professional edition of it for that is integrated to carbon emission life cycle assessment programs for the future.
Right.
But
Right.
the basic one, I hope that we can finish it until the 25th of May. No, May 20,
Yes.
2025.
2025. Yes.
Yeah, it will be free for everyone.
Awesome. I have a question about the impact because that's one of the core values of Nature Fest. So it's care, fun, creativity, impact. So you just touched on impact and you're capturing that in your app. Awesome. How are you? What metrics are you reading to report your impact? I'm curious. Are you reading the planetary boundaries, the SDGs? What are you? How are you benchmarking impact there? Oh, can you tell us? Maybe it's a
Okay.
secret.
Technically, or according to my perspective, because technically, of course, we need to calculate. I mean, we are using some programs to calculate, but they're not enough for us. They are not according to circular economy. And
Right.
also, like you cannot calculate when your community members collect it because they walk, for example,
Yeah.
they don't
Yeah.
drive. But when you add this to that to the programs, they take it like as they drive. So
Okay.
actually, we are carbon handprinted as a
Yes.
company.
Yes. And
But
yeah. It's
from
not
my
an exact
perspective,
science, right? It can never be an exact science, but you can make some assumptions, I suppose,
yes,
about
I mean,
impact.
according to general carbon calculations, we do that, of course. But
Yes.
how I calculate impact, how I see the impact is how many people can I employ?
Okay.
Do kids smile? Is the
Oh,
community happy? This is impact for me.
this is
Are
impact. Yeah.
yeah, is the soil better now?
Yes.
Are the
Yeah.
farmers happy because they come to us and they say, "Oh, when you buy eggs, we don't want to charge you this extra um X liras or X dollars." They say because you're collecting the egg boxes and bringing them to us, we don't need to
Right.
spend that much money for the emballage.
Right.
So they are
Right.
dropping the price by themselves. They are coming with this idea to us.
Right. Right.
So this is impact.
Yes, it certainly is. I have loved speaking with you, Rabia. Your work is fascinating, purposeful, and so aligned with everything that we're pushing towards as well. So I hope we can keep the conversation going and birth some new things together, or just continue the work in step with one another, with Nature
I'm
Fest,
sure that.
with your work. Would you share? Do you have an ask? What would be an ask if we could ask the Circularist audience to do anything, having watched this video? What would it be?
Don't think that you're the boss of the nature. You're just a member of it. It's just like an entire organism that we are also a part of it. And when my eyes do not work, my coordination wouldn't be the best. When my
Yeah.
eyes do not work, I cannot see. I cannot do certain things in the proper way. So if we break one thing, the entire organism will not function, and we are part of that organism.
Mhm.
So whenever you take a step, please think, how would the organism feel?
Mm.
That
Wonderful.
that would be the thing that I would ask from the audience. Just think when you
Wonderful.
take a step forward.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you so much for joining me on the Circularists. This is a fascinating journey and insight into the Queen of Waste and your work, which is so precious. I look forward to learning a lot more. So thank you for joining us, Rabia, and we'll
Thank
chat
you too,
soon.
Karen. I'm honored to be invited by you, and uh, it was fun to talk about my passion.
Mm, it certainly was. All right. Bye for now.
Bye.
I'm going to stop recording here.